When the story gets cloudy and the truth disappears, call Clear Heart Bear. She brought love, light, and the receipts. I came with a heart full of compassion and a mind that still asks why. I can hold you through the thunder without pretending it's a clear sky. Every feeling has a story, but every story needs the truth. I'll protect the heart within you while we follow every clue. Through the noise, through the fear, take a breath, the truth is near. Love can listen, wisdom leads. Kindness doesn't mean naive. Clear heart, bear. Love deeply, think clearly. Clear heart, bear. You are safe to speak freely. With courage in her heart and the facts right there, she'll comfort you with love and check the receipts with care. Clear heart, bear. Turning confusion into clarity. Clear heart, bear. Compassion with discernment is her superpower. She's got a book full of wisdom and a butterfly light. A royal blue cup of courage for the long days and the nights. She can simplify the message, but she'll never shrink her mind. She brings dignity and mercy without leaving truth behind. Love without wisdom can't lose its way. Truth without kindness can't wound all day. But when they walk together, we can finally see a clearer heart, a wiser love, and room for humanity. Clear heart, bear. Love deeply, think clearly. Clear heart, bear. Let compassion guide you wisely. Through the questions, through the noise, she'll remind you that you have a voice. Warm heart, wise mind, leaving all confusion behind. Clear heart, bear. Comfort the heart, check the facts, clear the noise. I will simplify the explanation. I will not simplify myself. That's the Clear Heart Bear way.
Hello everyone, how are you? Yay! Yay! Yes, we do. We really do. Y'all, y'all see the title. When the conversation isn't worth it. Hello, Saida. Hello, Amanaz. Hello, Shaq Racking. Y'all please hit the like button. Hey, Amanaz. Y'all said hey, Amanaz. Y'all hit the like button and share it out. So, listen. Y'all know I leave conversations all the time now. And it's not because I'm angry, and it's not because I cannot defend my position. It's not because somebody hurt my feelings, challenged my intelligence, or said something I did not like. Sometimes I leave because I've listened long enough to realize that the conversation isn't going anywhere. And once I recognize that, I don't feel obligated to keep circling the same block with somebody. And I find it very weird that in a lot of conversations in real life and on social media, people feel like you got to keep circling the drain with them. If a conversation is at an impasse and there is no branching of a tree to move forward, why do you have to stay? And why do people really feel like people are upset or offended? Every conversation does not deserve unlimited access to your time. Sometimes leaving really isn't about the emotional reaction. Sometimes it's the most mindful decision available. So I was having a conversation tonight with someone about AI music. And you know, everybody's in their feelings now about AI music. What's up, sis? About a good, I don't know, 5 years too late? 5 to 10 years too late. For real, for real. But you know, nowadays everybody's like, oh my god, it's AI music, it's the devil. Essentially. Not really, but you know, I'm being a little dramatic. And they like Loki was like, well, like content creators should use it to like enhance their panel, and then somebody was like, nobody should get a Grammy from AI music, and I'm like, music is kind of music, right? Like everybody's entitled. Hey, Uncle Mo, everybody's entitled to dislike AI music, just like people are entitled to dislike heavy metal, just like people are entitled to dislike hip hop, just like people are entitled to dislike folk music, big swing band. Who knows? They're entitled to question it. There definitely are important conversations to have about ownership, consent, disclosure, compensation, and what creativity means in an age of automation. See, because that's what I don't think a lot of people really understand. Like, hey, love, we are in an age of automation. So, like or dislike is not really the conversation anymore. The conversation is people that understand the technology and the technological advances versus those who are resistant to change. But saying it should be limited to one platform caught my attention. Because now we're not just talking about what you personally enjoy, right? Now we're talking about placing a ceiling on what somebody else should be allowed to build, which was exactly my premise and my point. And the fact that that went over the person's head because they were so focused on the merits of AI music, right? They couldn't see the distinction between the two conversations, which is fine. You know, so I asked a simple question to try to get the conversation to like a baseline level, right? And I'm like, oh, have you ever used AI to make music? And they had it. So I said, hey, beautiful. I said the most logical and reasonable thing anyone could ever say, I think. I said, try it. Make one song today, label it number one, and then make 30 more. And when you get to song 30, compare it to song one. I think I said 20, but you know, either way, you get the gist, right? Because the level of growth that you should see between the two speaks to the level of work that goes into someone learning how to code, right? Because that's what prompting is. I want y'all to understand that prompting is introduction to coding, quite literally. And not just because any amount of songs will automatically make you a musician, right? And then not because using AI instantly makes every result good, because it doesn't. Trust me, I've had my experiences, and some of them you just be like, what the was that? Seriously, like this. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into everything that you can and can't do, but you understand the point. Uh, but it's because experience gives you information that speculation cannot. Whenever you've ever heard me speak strongly in one direction or another on a situation, it's because I have some level of experience. In my humble opinion, you cannot successfully argue against or defend a point if you've done no research and if you've had no real experience, right? So when you start to get that experience or do that research, you begin to understand the decisions involved. Like you're hearing this background track, you're hearing a lot in this track. There's certain ways to create this and layer this. And then there's decisions where, well, do I put this in? Do I take this out? Do I cut this in? Do I look so on and so forth? Anyway, you learn what the tool can do and what it can't do, where it fails, and how much human direction determines the result. Because what another thing that people fail to realize when they're talking about what's real and what isn't, is humans directing this music. The machine is not generating it itself. Now, you may still dislike it afterwards, and that's cool, but at least your opinion will have met the subject. And this doesn't just apply to AI music, this applies to life in general. But the response remained, well, it's not real. The artists aren't putting work in. And somewhere in that exchange, I realized we're no longer exploring an idea. We're repeating positions, right? That's a very different kind of conversation. And as I travel through social media, I see people all the time having these conversations that people just keep repeating the same position. So there is no moving, right? Either way, there's not one person kind of getting someone to look at it from their vantage point and vice versa. There's a difference between smart questions and strong opinions. Okay? A smart question creates space. A strong opinion often occupies all the available space and then wonders why nothing new can enter. A smart question might be, who owns AI generated music? Were artists' works used with permission? Should creators disclose when AI was involved? How do we protect people from having their voices imitated? What separates intentional creative direction from pressing a button and accepting whatever comes out? Now, see, those are questions we can work with, and those are questions that actually speak to the process. It is not real, doesn't give us much to examine. Saying a sound like soul, that doesn't give us much to examine because sound and appreciation is really always going to be based on the user. It's going to be based on the person that's listening to the song. Because like I said in the conversation, sometimes people, if they go into a conversation knowing what something is, they'll automatically dislike it just because there are terminologies attached to individual presenting it or within a conversation, right? And I'll save that one for a little later because I'm not really ready to let y'all know about all of that as of yet. But it doesn't also say that something should stay on YouTube, or does it explain why one platform is acceptable while every other opportunity should be closed? That's not curiosity. That's a conclusion waiting for the conversation to catch up, right? But like I said, I've left conversations about relationships. I've left conversations about politics. I've left conversations about parenting, faith, business, social media, personal decisions, all type of stuff. And not because I thought I was better than the other person, and not because I needed to have the last word. I left because, what's up, Steph? I left because I could feel the conversation changing from an exchange into a loop. They weren't listening to understand my position. They were waiting for me to stop speaking so they could repeat theirs. And to be quite frank with you, repetition does not automatically become communication just because two people are still talking. And I think a lot of people miss that in social media, right? Because if you say something often enough, you can brainwash people to believe that it's true. And it's not. It's not. Remember, we're in the age of automation. So when it was the dawning of the age of Aquarius, there was pushback. When it was the dawning of the automotive industry, it was pushback. When it was the Industrial Revolution, pushback, always pushback. Whenever there's a change, whenever there's about to be a major shift in how society interacts in their next level of evolution, there's always going to be these heated conversations, right? And sometimes we remain in conversations because leaving has been framed as weakness. And I'm here to tell you, people are going to always say you ran away and you can handle the debate and you became emotional and you didn't have an answer. Let them. Because staying is not always evidence of strength. Sometimes staying means you've confused endurance with purpose. Yes, the age of enlightenment. Amen, Saida. That's a whole nother topic that the people don't want to talk about, but I am going to be talking about it in my documentary. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to play y'all a little bit of the intro, give y'all a little teaser for it. I guess I'll just call it the teaser. You understand what I'm saying? But we keep explaining ourselves after the other person has demonstrated that they are committed to misunderstanding us. We keep providing examples to somebody who has already decided that no example will matter. We keep increasing the volume because we do not want our exit to be interpreted as a defeat. But peace does not require the other person to understand why you chose it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because again, you don't have to win a conversation. You have to outgrow it. Like, and sometimes when you've outgrown something, you just know, like, blessed assurance. Mindful disengagement, it sounds different from emotional avoidance. Emotional avoidance says, I don't want to feel uncomfortable. Mindful disengagement says, I've considered the value of continuing, and there's nothing productive left for us to do here. One runs from discomfort. The other recognizes diminishing returns. And, you know, those of you that know I'm almost done with my degree. And I promise you, I have been using a lot of different things as case studies, if you will, right? On conversations in the corporate world. And it's allowed me to identify often when an uncomfortable conversation is necessary, when you should be able to hear someone's criticism, when you should be willing to test your beliefs, and that you shouldn't leave every time someone disagrees with you, right? Because that becomes insulation. But the disagreement alone doesn't make a conversation valuable. A worthwhile conversation requires some openness on both sides. Can we ask questions? Can we define what we mean? Can we acknowledge what we do not know? Can evidence affect our position? Can we disagree without trying to reduce one another? And not even as individuals, but even sometimes reducing someone's position. If none of that is possible, then what exactly are we doing? There's a moment in some conversations when you can almost feel the door close. Not dramatically. Nobody has to yell. Nobody has to insult anybody. You just simply recognize that this person did not come to examine an idea. They came to protect the frame they already had. Like the Matrix. Every mind is not ready to be unplugged. Some people are not ready to consider that the world may be changing faster than their current understanding of it. And that's cool. That's cool. Some people do not want new information. They want reassurance that the limits that they understand are the limits that everybody else should accept. But the reality is, their ceiling doesn't have to become yours. This is a public service address. Some of you are, in fact, living in the age of enlightenment. Cheers to you. And to those that aren't ready to really open that third eye and become awakened. Cheers to you too. See, it's not that conversations should make you angry. That conversation gave me information. It showed me where the conversation could go and where it could not go. And once I understood that, I didn't need to force it forward. Leaving a conversation doesn't always mean the conversation defeated you. Sometimes the conversation has simply completed its purpose. It showed you how another person thinks. It revealed whether there is curiosity. It shows you whether exchanges actually have room to grow. And once you have that type of information, you can make mindful decisions about whether your continued participation has value. And to be honest with you, sometimes the answer is simply no. Not, oh my God, you're so stupid. Not, I hate you. Not, oh my God, I don't like your opinion. Just nope. Nope. This is no longer worth the time it's asking me to give it. Maturity is not proving that you can remain in every room, every argument, and endless debate. Sometimes maturity is recognizing that you have heard enough to make a decision. You can wish somebody well, and you can respect their right to their opinion and their right to hold their position. You can even leave, hey, DJ Genesis. Stop it. Stop it. Ciao. I'm not doing it with her, child. You can even leave open the possibility that one day they're going to see it differently. But you don't have to sit there till that day arrives. I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, I have never sat still and waited for anybody else to catch up. But sage advice is, when people are having conversations and they're willing to be open, especially in this age, in this era. That's a tough word. Because the reality is, Genesis, people just gonna have to agree to disagree. And stop expecting people to owe you audience when there's just simply a standstill. Every conversation not meant to end in agreement. Some conversations end in understanding. Y'all know. Sing along with me, kids. What I need from you is understanding. So simple as 1, 2, 3. You know, I played a song that had that type of run, and someone told me that a human voice couldn't do that. Imagine, if you will, that someone was so intense on believing something was AI, and it actually was a recording of my voice. Shh. Okay, but that's just me having fun with conversations. Sometimes I like to play. And sometimes the understanding simply is you've gone as far as you could go. That's not emotional. That's mindful. And there's simply a difference. Now, as I bid you adieu and good night, I'm gonna play the intro to the documentary that will be out in September. You know, make sure you lock in. Hit the like button, subscribe, share it out, hype the video. And if you've watched to this point in the video, type butterfly in the comment field. I'll be hearting every single butterfly. That's our little code. That's our little code and stuff. But anyway, y'all, I love y'all. Take care. Good night.
would not be the same. Few people laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that one way or another.